Hey folks, my name's Ed Trevors. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I'm an Anglican priest serving in the beautiful parish of Christchurch-shelburne that sits on the ancestral and on the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Today's Friday. Feels like a good day for confession. Now, this isn't going to be anything terribly salacious. Probably I've confessed to something along these lines in the past. I've definitely done videos on this subject matter in the past. The other day, I was reading the news, as I often do. I look for stories that inspire me to do these videos. I was reading a lot about snowflakes. You know, those people like me, people on the left that get really easily offended when somebody says something. We get really easily offended when somebody uses language we don't like or when somebody does something we don't like. We immediately jump to the place where we're going to cancel them. I don't do that, and I don't know many people that do. But immediately after reading a couple of those types of stories, I was thinking about doing a story on judgment, oddly enough, which is what I'm doing. I found this other story. This story was about a gentleman who was complaining that Disney has changed his favorite ride. They've changed the Pirates of the Caribbean. Apparently, somewhere along the line of Disney is now allowing the actors who work on that particular ride to dress whatever way they identify with. So I assume so long as it's within the motif of the period. And that was it. He was done. I'm never going back. Disney's being all PC. They've forgotten the legacy of Walt Disney. I'm done. We would go, and then he went on to say that they go on regularly and they spend thousands and thousands of dollars every year and they do this and they do this and that's it. Disney's not getting another dime. And when I read that, I heard all kinds of different things. Here I heard a guy from that same political spectrum canceling Disney for all intents and purposes. He's saying he's done with them and he's launched it to the news, hoping, I suspect, to inspire other people to say, that's it, we're done with Disney too. So he's in effect trying to cancel Disney because he's offended. And I thought, given all the stories that I had read about snowflakes and then reading this story, I thought it was kind of ironic. And then I started thinking about what he was saying, and he said, you know, we spend thousands of dollars and we go there regularly. Who can afford to go to Disney regularly? Who can afford to go to Disney regularly? And during the middle of a pandemic, when people are sick and when people are dying and when people are isolated and becoming frustrated and becoming incredibly exhausted with the restrictions that we're trying to live up to, that we're trying to live according to, this guy's complaining that he won't travel to Disney anymore where he can spend thousands of dollars. And that was it. I was off to the races. My brain was flying. How can I make this into a video? And that was probably a few days ago. But it's been there. I mean, I wrote it on my whiteboard. I wrote it in my book. It's in my journal with all my other ideas for videos for this channel. And then it struck me. I don't know who this guy is. I'll never meet this guy. I don't really care about this guy, you know, from the sense of there's no relationship that I'm worried about, and yet I'm spending my emotional energy on him. I made a judgment about what he said in this article, and now I've given him a part of myself. The cost of judging people is that we do end up giving them something of ourselves. Now, whether we're judging them because of righteous indignation or because, as in my case, I think I was being a little petty, we still give them a little something. We give them some of our emotional energy. We give them a little bit or a lot of our time. We give them things that really are precious to us, things that we can't get back. I'm never going to get back the, say, hour that I spent thinking about how do I talk about this guy. That time is gone. Right? I'm never going to get back the emotional energy that I spent thinking about what I was going to do and how I was going to do it. I'm not going to get back the emotional energy that I spent with my grief, with my anger, with whatever it happened to be. Jealousy. It's never coming back to me. This person that I don't know, this person that I've never met, I've given this person a part of my life because I've chosen, consciously or otherwise, to judge them. Now, there are times when we all, as individuals and as communities, we need to make a decision about whether or not something is good or bad, whether it is healthy or unhealthy, whether it is just or unjust. And then once we have that decision made, we need to take action. We need to speak. We need to let the world know. We need to let our community know. We need to let our family know what it is we think about that particular issue. That is good, that is natural, and it is necessary. But no matter what, no matter, again, if it's righteous or petty, it costs us. So I'm not here telling you that no matter what you do, do not judge, do not discern what is right, what is wrong, what is just, what is unjust. That is not our role. No, part of our role is to apply what we know against certain things, to figure out whether or not this is something we should encourage or something we should discourage, something we should work for or something we should work against. But we need to be careful. We need to be careful in our judgment. We need to be careful where we spend that emotional energy. We need to be careful where we spend that time, where we spend those thoughts, because we don't ever get that stuff back. Once we judge someone, once we judge something, we're connected. And we are going to spend something on them. Let's just be careful who and what we are connecting with. Let's be careful where we are spending ourselves. There are times for us to make a decision. There are times for us to discern. There are situations where we need to take a stance. And then there's those people who are complaining about the way Pirates of the Caribbean is now being operated at Disney. And we don't need to spend our time and our energy on them. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord's face be made to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord's countenance be lifted up to you. May you always know the peace of being in the Lord's presence. And I pray you will be discerning about where you spend yourself, where you spend that which is good and cherished of yourself. We don't need to discern every single situation or circumstance. We don't need to make a judgment about everything. We don't need to offer ourselves to everyone over anything. Amen.